Unsyndicated presents Off the Board, the weekly gambling show. Hosted by Majchrzak and Mike Iavasile.
This is off the board. It's off the rails. We haven't even started. Todd's counting us down, and Mike's just trying to finish a sentence. And I know I'm going to be able to go back on YouTube because of how StreamYard works, and you'll hear it right at the beginning. Like you're just about to say something. Welcome Off the Board. I mean, I'm Blake. Mike, welcome. Last show of the season.
Can you believe it? This show was a year. It took us a year to get there, and then we got there, and I cannot believe it's over. It feels like that show. I was sitting on the deck, nervous as shit. What are we going to do? Are we going to have enough? And, of course, are we going to have enough content? We go an hour and a half every freaking time, right? I can't believe it, but this is what it comes down to, the Super Bowl.
This show's just surviving is actually incredible.
Isn't that all? The fact that they allow us just to get on here.
There's multiple reasons why it's incredible that it survived, but here we are. So I first of all, I wanted to just start off with, and Todd, I didn't warn you about this. I don't think you have anything ready. I want to congratulate Ryan Day for his big payday. And there it is. Congratulations, Ryan. I'm so happy for you and your family. You just locked up all that money just to lose to Michigan again. It's great. I'm so happy for him. I don't give a shit. I'm so happy. Sign him for a lifetime deal. I
knew to send you that as soon as that popped up, as soon as that happened, I knew I would make your day, and I knew it did. So I didn't have to send anything after that. I knew you were just basking in that.
No, and I've gotten in this argument with Sean. He is a great coach.
Okay.
Except for one fall Saturday in November. He's not a great coach. And as long as he's not a great coach on that fall Saturday, I'm good. I'm chilling.
Yeah. And to your defense, that gives Michigan that chance every year.
Yeah.
If they can beat Ohio State every year, or a majority of the years, let's just say, that gives them a better chance. So you like that. Ryan Day increases Michigan's chances of making the playoffs.
Yeah. And now that he's got Brian Hartline as his offensive coordinator, which is hilarious to me. I mean, this is a pick show. We're talking Super Bowl. I'm very excited, but I had to lead with that. Also in the gambling world,
yes,
I've been riding the wings, and I'm just so happy.
Oh, it's so good.
I got in right at the right time, and I'm just like I took them. I don't know. It depends on the app. I took their over in goals in the Edmonton game. It was 2.5, and for whatever reason, the shootout goal counted, so that hit for me.
Well, that adds to the final score. You have to read that fine print, obviously, but that adds to it, right?
And then I had them on the money line. I had bet them right after that game on the money line against Seattle. So I got them at plus 100. And by game time, it was like minus 120. Yeah. So I got some good value. You have taught me that very, very well. So
you've got to get it. You got your value. But I think by now, for at least of course, we got one more game. They play Tampa on the 8th, and then they're off for 2 weeks. But when they come back, there's going to be a time. There's going to be no value in betting the Wings because of how hot they are, and that they're just going to be trouble for everybody. So we'll have to see on that one. I've started to look at hockey numbers because obviously we have one more football game left, and I have to have something to kill my time. And I know the next thing that me and you will probably be talking about will be March Madness.
Yeah, it's hockey and college basketball for me now.
Yeah.
I've been paying more and more attention to college basketball. College basketball, I don't know how much you used to be into it or how much you watch it now. it's so hard because there's just games every single night. It used to be like there would be a big game Monday and a big game like Thursday, and then like the Saturday noon CBS game. But now it's like every night of the week because Fox has their Friday night basketball game. There's obviously still Saturday. There's Sundays now. And it's every single day. It's not, and I can't keep up with it. And the SEC is just awesome. College basketball and the SEC is back. They suck at football, but they're good at basketball.
Of course. But yeah, I'm just going to be up for, I don't watch college basketball. I do not follow college basketball, but I'm in a huge NCAA pool for the tournament, and I will bet games during the tournament because it condenses down and I can track it. Like you said, there's not 8 billion games. There's condensed games down, and I can follow the numbers a little bit more. So I'll be on that, but I'm in I love the pool that I'm in.
You know, I hit my biggest parlay I've ever hit last March Madness, right?
I know you've told me this, but let's go through it.
It was $10 to win $750.
70-1, baby.
It was incredible. It was a great day. It was, and the best part was it like the last bet of it, and I can't remember every leg of it off the top of my head, but there was that Colorado-Florida game that came like right down to the wire. That was one of the legs in it, and I hit that. And then the last game of it was the Purdue game, and they like won by like 50.
Yeah,
so it was just I was on easy street. I was so happy. It was a
That's
great
beautiful.
Night.
That's beautiful. So
I usually get my ass whooped in March, so I was happy.
Yeah, that is to come. That is to come. Hey, we've helped people through football season. We can help people through March Madness. I know we'll have a big show roundtable after this at some point to see where we're going with this and what we want to do. But I can't. Like I said, I'm in a huge pool there. I've got $100 square going on this goddamn Super Bowl, so I cannot fucking wait for this because this is my playtime, Blake. You know, now me and you've been together for a little bit now, and you know, I Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, I'm crunching numbers, I'm doing shit, I'm taking it serious, and I do it all the way through. Even for this game, I'll crunch those numbers, but it's just one game. But when it comes to the Super Bowl, it's just the one game. It's just the one numbers. I have, what did I tell you last week? Someone needed to take my phone. I had 20 bets already.
Something stupid.
It's dumb, but it's nothing but fun. This is where you get into, and you guys will see as we get in, it's just Mike logic. And Mike logic makes no sense to anybody but Mike, because I have to get outside of the numbers at some point, and this is when I do it.
No, you go to my plan, which is vibes.
Yes.
You go vibes and you see what happens. And
absolutely. And I have a vibe for this game, and it seems like, and we'll talk about it, obviously, it seems like the books don't want to go there. I hate this news that the flu is going through the Philadelphia locker room. That may crush my dreams. MGM is crushing my dreams because, Blake, they refuse to give me my goddamn boost. And I'm going to be out of town. So you know when I'm going to get my boost is Sunday.
Yeah.
And I'm going to be in fucking Markham, Ontario.
You know,
I've got a backup plan. My daughter has already logged into my account.
I was going to say, you can just send it to me, too.
Yes, I am doing it because at some point, again, we'll get into my evil plan, but at some point there may have to be a plan B.
Jaden Daniels just won Offensive Rookie of the Year, just so you know. That NFL honors is going on as we speak. I got Schefter tweets just coming in on my iPad. What's up, Todd?
Off the Board does not condone international gambling violations.
And
it's true. That's fair.
What's the violation? I'm just making a call. You know, I mean, that's it.
By the way, Todd, just so we're clear, I used to violate lots of international laws on gambling before it was legal in the States.
Oh.
So I'm just being honest. I don't know if I should say that on here or not. The IRS.
I think we can cut that. We can cut that. We can.
Do we have a delay? Do we have a dump button on this show?
So Daniels did win. Good. I mean, that's.
Do you have any? You have MVP, right?
I've got MVP. I'm not going to win. I blew it. If Lamar Jackson wins it, I'll eat my words because I didn't think that he could win it with as many losses that they had and where they finished. It's usually a 1 or 2 seed quarterback that wins it. So if he wins it, I'll eat it because I could have put some money down on him. The one I wanted was Josh Allen, but he just never dropped out of that favorite position. So it wasn't there. So I've got everybody. I got Patrick Mahomes at 15, 16 to 1. I've got Goff at 40 to 1.
Yeah.
And I even dropped one on what's his face, Saquon Barkley at like 10 to 1. But I couldn't. I put Lamar Jackson out. I wouldn't put any money on him because I didn't think he had a chance. But now it's looking like people are thinking he might. I wanted a shot at Josh, and they just never lost coming down. He never had that bad game. So that was my only end.
No, he was basically locked as the favorite after that Lions game. Like it was that moment on. So
if they would have lost to, remember I was waiting, seriously, I had both bets in just waiting on that Kansas City game. I was taking the loser because I knew that loser would shoot way up. And I got Mahomes at 15 to 1.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, he didn't have he's not going to win. He didn't have a good enough year, but
no, he's not even a Pro Bowler, which is insane.
Yeah, yes. Allen never won it.
That shows how sick people are of the Chiefs. That, like, the fact that he didn't even get nominated for the Pro Bowl, because that's fan vote, obviously. And
yes.
That's crazy to me. Absolutely crazy. I mean, whatever.
Which makes it seems like people are over Mahomes, but this line in the Super Bowl is telling me they are not over. This is a very weird line. Again, we're getting
no. That was a professional transition. That was beautiful what you just did. You just got us right there.
Wow! Look at me.
It's like this guy's been doing this for 6 months or something. This is incredible. Well, we can get into it because of that.
Let's get into it.
Let's get into it because we got props we're gonna go over. We got plenty of time. Obviously, the Super Bowl, the big game. We don't have any sponsors, so we can say the S word. We can say Super Bowl.
So we can say the Super Bowl.
Yeah, we don't have it. We're not sponsored by anything. We're like, you can't use it if this is me going radio nerd. You can't use it in advertising. So, like, say if our show was sponsored by, I don't know, whatever, Tom, Dick, and Harry, then we could not say Super Bowl. But because this is just all for fun and games, there's no monetary investment coming our way, we can say it.
All right, because you saw when I put out the tweet, the early tweet, I said big game. I'm like, I don't know. I just know from my days of going to Vegas, and they couldn't do the big game and the stories of them trying to shut down Vegas, which is hilarious, especially where we sit now.
I know.
But so we want to do results first?
Yeah. Let's do the results. I needed to go 4-0 to have a chance at 500. I went 3-1. Buffalo. That game was a toss up. That was a fantastic game, obviously.
Fantastic.
But not to skip over, Philly did what every Lions fan wanted the Lions to do to Washington. And I know I'm speaking to Todd and Mike very much so right now, but obviously Saquon, like right off the bat, just 75-yard run. That game was never close.
It was never close, and it was a kick in the dick for Lions fans. And I think it opened a lot of people's eyes. I was saying it when I was making this pick for this game. A lot of people were hinting at it, but then once this happened, it just made it so obvious. And the fact that Philadelphia did what they did, which means they did what they needed to do, really plays into my pick and my picks coming forward into the Super Bowl. Because it just here's the thing, Lions fans. You wouldn't have beat Philadelphia.
No.
You wouldn't have beat Philadelphia. And that is saying with the team that you had. What you saw Philadelphia do to Washington in that game, and what they've really done for the last half of the season, which was, I think they were the best team. They did what they did, but Philadelphia's defense is what the Lions didn't have. And that's where we would have looked like Washington against Philadelphia. So it was a good thing that we didn't have to go through that. But Philadelphia, once again, as you said, they did exactly what the Lions needed to do and didn't do.
Yeah, I mean, that team. It was in Washington, like, to go from where they were to where they are, and like to have Jaden Daniels and everything like that's sick. But the other game, Chiefs Bills, came down to the wire again, and we talked about it a little bit earlier.
Yeah,
there were some calls that could have gone both ways. There were some coaching decisions that were questionable, but I mean, it was an incredible football game. It feels like it was like 6 months ago,
doesn't it?
Seriously.
It feels forever ago. And, you know, I love patting myself on the back, so I'll do it. I said in my write-up for that game of why I took Kansas City, even though Buffalo winning was very, very, very good for me. Very good for me. I had an exacta that was very, very good. It was McDermott.
Yeah, I mean, he got out coached, that's for sure.
He got out, and I know at some point, I'm sure it's somewhere you had a Cook prop or something. Like, how are you not running, cooking at? Like, I don't understand what they did. They lost that game, and that guy gets into I'm sorry, Buffalo fan. Refs did not blow that game for you. I'll give you that should have been an incomplete pass, but they would have had a first down anyways. And by getting that first down on the pass, it actually helped you because it took less time off the clock for them to get that touchdown. But McDermott blew that game. And that is his team, and the way they did not run Cook, which is what's going to happen come Super Bowl Sunday. Barkley. But we'll get to that. We'll get to that, but that is why I took Kansas City. They flat out got out coached in that game.
Yeah. No, I mean 100%. And the Chiefs, for the second time all year, put up 30 plus. They had to, obviously.
Yes.
But I spoke about it on the show. I thought it was going to be a race to 30. First team to score 30 wins the game. That's exactly what happened.
Yeah.
So
100%. We were spot on with that. The trends were spot on with that. And both those games, those unders sucked. So we're just gonna get that out of the way.
Yeah, I mean, Philly scoring 55 on their own was
which I love the fact that they did. I mean, Blake, I think I set a record this year for unders that were beaten by one team. I mean, I had so many of them this year. But it sat me down. I'm totally taking a look at the way I do totals, and I will be back and I will be better next year. Those unders sucked.
Hey, you know what? Sometimes, Mike, you just got to tell yourself life's too short to bet the under. That's what Big Cat taught me when I was a young gambling man. Life is too short to bet the under. It's fun to root for points.
I agree with you. It is not fun rooting against human achievement. I mean, I say it. I love it. I've got my shirt. It's not under till it's over. I've got all, and I know this, but again, I do what I do. I follow my numbers, but I'm going to have to get into it because unders killed me this year. But
I noticed for your picks for this game, there's not you did not pick
because why? You know, Blake, if my numbers came in over, I would have an over bet. You know where my numbers came in because I do not have a total bet. They came in under, and there is, again, it could come in under. I can't predict games, but there is not a pathway that I see to that game going under.
No.
And so I have to not do it. So this is my first no means no.
It's good. You're learning. Nature is healing. All right, let's get into it. Let's make some picks for the game. And then, like I said, we got look at that. 3 games under 500. And hopefully we're gonna end 1 game under. I was so streaky this year, man. There was
That was good.
highs
That was
and
good.
lows.
Yeah.
I remember. I mean, what was there was a point where I was below 400, right? Todd,
You
yes,
might have bet like there,
Yeah.
and I would say it was probably with about 5 weeks to go in the season. It looked like, I mean, Mike, Blake, right?
Yeah,
And then those last 5 weeks absolutely cremated me. And you hopped on that trip. We were both very streaky. You had, how would I say, like closer streaks, but my streaks were, I mean, my 1-in-9 streaks were the ones that killed it. But hey, it is what it is, right?
Yeah, exactly. All right, so everyone knows the game, Super Bowl, game of the year, everything on the line. Philadelphia, Kansas City. Kansas City is favored by 1.5. I know you've sent me, it's kind of moved a little bit through the week, but it's pretty locked in at 1.5. I think. I don't think we're going to see it move more before the game.
I still have this is as weird as it gets with me. I don't know. It's not weird because it hasn't moved. It's weird because I don't understand the non-move. But we're going to get to there. But let's start off with there's 4 trends in the Super Bowl, Blake, that really are very predictive. So let's get our trends out of the way first.
Yes.
All right. There's 4 of them. There is the team that wins the turnover battle is 79% against the spread. Now, individually, these things don't mean much, but collectively. So you got the turnover battle of 79%. The team that rushes for more yards, 75% against the spread. The team that wins time of possession, 71% against the spread. The team that passes for more yards, 67% against the spread, okay? So you can go through your brain who you think's going to hit on those, right? But here's the deal. If you hit 3 or 4 of those, you're 80% against the spread. If you hit all 4, only one team has lost ATS in the history. Do you know who that is, Blake? When I say it, it's going to be obvious.
I feel like I do know it, but I'll let you.
It's going to be the Patriots against the Eagles.
Okay.
That game is the only time someone hit all 4 of those and lost that. So when I go through that,
I thought it was either that or 28-3.
Yes, right. Patriots again, right? And they were just getting dominated. The team that's going to win the turnover battle, that to me, that's the toughest one because both these teams really do protect the ball. Up till last game in the playoffs against Buffalo, Kansas City really had only turned the ball over once. So that's that toss up of where do you think that one's going to go? You know who's going to rush for more yards. And if you know who's going to rush for more yards, you can say who you think's going to possess the ball longer, right? As long as there's no 80-yard Barkley runs. Yeah. The passing one should go Kansas City, right? You're thinking Kansas City is going to go that way, depending on how.
It depends on game script, though.
Yes,
like, if Kansas City gets up 14-0 in the first half.
Yes, but before the game starts, you're looking at that. You can try to, but you could use those 4 trends to really like. I looked at a bunch of them. And it's also hard because you can't, just like a bowl game trend, you never know who's going to be there. So you can't say in the Super Bowl, but when you look at this and you say in the Super Bowl, but you can predict with who's that better running team, who protects the ball a little bit more, who's passing the ball. The passing one intrigues me because you just don't know where Philadelphia is going to go with that one. They have the weapons to do that. They have it. I mean, with Goddard, Brown, and Smith, they can throw that ball. Yeah. So it's very interesting.
Like we talked about last show, going into that Washington game, Philly had a losing record when Hurts had over, I think it was 175 passing yards.
151.
Okay, yeah.
Isn't that ridiculous?
Yeah. But then that game, obviously, like I bet
Yep.
because I think his over-under for passing was 191
Yep.
in that game. And I bet I took the under. I thought they were going to win. So I was like, okay, I'll bet Hurts under passing. And
Yes.
he went over 200. He had a good game.
And if you remember, it was a 40-yard difference in a bet between him and Daniels. Like I was sold on that one too. And that didn't end too well either.
Real quick, Skydog asked you a question. I know it says Mook, but he corrected himself in the one below. Do you have your numbers? What your percentage over under? I know like it was some of them were show bets, but like stuff that you actually had in your account. Do you have that number? Or?
Yeah, it's kind of ridiculous because there was a point in time that I started throwing things away and burning stuff and breaking stuff because it was getting so bad. But the numbers that I actually saved, because as you got, I always show you, I write everything down. So I went through a script. So it was, and it's funny because I thought it would be way worse. What I had collected, I was 500 on overs and unders.
Yeah.
My big thing was I was at that time I was 32-19 on sides with the NCAA. That was the only thing that was saving me. But that didn't include probably a couple weeks of bad totals that I had in that was because I started literally in those last 2 weeks of the last 5 weeks of the season, I started breaking shit. So I would say if I was 500 at that point, I was probably a good 10 under 10 games under 500 on my totals. But it was not as bad as I thought it was because, like you even said, like the beginning of the season, that system was working really well.
Yeah.
It was working really well for me. It just, I hit that 4 to 5 week period where I didn't change it up. I didn't do like what I did today. Looking at that game, I'm like, this game is under. There's no way I can see it going under. I pull it off, right?
Yeah.
I did not do that a lot in those last few weeks. So I would say it's probably about 10 games under. It was by far my losing side was totals on I didn't have many NCAA totals on NFL totals was probably about 10 games under.
Yeah, well, like for the picks for the show, there was a streak where I think you went like 3 weeks straight of all the show picks were just under.
Yeah, 100%. And I would say 2 of them hit, right? And if you take that, I didn't have all those in my account, and I had more of I have more account bets that I take the totals on than I do show bets. That kind of gets thrown into notes over here. So yeah, we could go back through that. I mean, you can look at what am I 13 games under 500 right now on my total. That is all because of totals.
Yeah.
You know, it was not a good game. So yeah, and when he's saying 80% of the games would be, we know for a fact Vegas took in a lot less money than they usually do this year on NFL football, especially because the public had their way with it. Favorites and overs were hitting like crazy.
Yeah. All right. You ready? Pick in the game.
I'm ready. I'm ready.
So I will start. We're looking at this game. I said the same thing last year. I am not going to bet against Patrick Mahomes and after the game be like, I'm so stupid. It's Patrick Mahomes. Like when I think about it, I can live with myself being like, oh, Jalen Hurts had an incredible game. I lost. Like, kudos. Great. But if I lose and I'm like, oh, there's this guy that's won 4 Super Bowls over there and I didn't take him. Like, that's my logic. I'm going to ride with the guy, possibly the greatest quarterback of all time.
Yep.
And I'm going to let it ride. And if I lose, I lose, but I can live with myself with that. If I do it the opposite way, I'm not going to be able to sleep well. So, all that being said, I'm taking Kansas City minus the 1.5. And I'm also going to take the over. I see this being a tight, not high scoring game, but higher scoring game. I think it's going to be like a 31-24, 31-28 type game, right in that realm. Comes down to the wire, but I think Kansas City pulls it off and gets the three-peat.
And I can't argue it, with the Mahomes thing, because like as you said, with like, you would rather say, hey, Hurts did this and beat me, not Mahomes. It's kind of like me and unders, right? Yeah, I like where Sky Dog's head's at here. Philly 31, Kansas City 24. The big thing's going to be Kansas City's offense, but let's get into, where did Mike end up on this? Where the hell are his numbers? So I always cover the last games, right? Both teams covered at home. Both teams went over the total. And now we have a repeat of the 2023 Super Bowl, Blake. And, in that Super Bowl, shockingly, Kansas City won. Shockingly, in a one-possession game. Shockingly, on a controversial pass interference call, right? 38-35.
The controversy ended, though, after the game when Bradbury was like, yeah, I did it.
Oh, he did it. He did it. I mean,
that was the end of the controversy.
But we got to feed into it, right? We got to feed into it. So now here's my last opportunity to take a stab at the public. We know what the public likes. They love the higher ranked team, Kansas City, right? They like better records, Kansas City. They like a recent history of beating their opponent, Kansas City. We also know who a majority of the bettors like, Patrick frickin' Mahomes. And that's not a shot. I get it. Like I get it. I'm going to make a statement later in this little write-up that I did about this, but I totally get it. And you know what? This Super Bowl is no different. My numbers are based on the early money. The Super Bowl is no different. When this line opened at 1.5, Blake, last week, 58% of the bettors thought that this line was too low, and they threw 56% of the money on Kansas City. However, here we stand 2 weeks later. This line has either been frozen at 1.5 or either dropped to 1, right, towards the Eagles. I got to tell you, I'm shocked at this. When I saw it, and the way I see this game, which I'll talk about, I thought Philly would at least go to Philly being the favorite. It seems like this is really tough on the books. And this is where I've been hemming and hawing all week. They know the sharp bettors, the smart bettors are on the Eagles, right? Yeah. Who's more likely to win, the sharps or the public? The sharps are more likely to win. But they haven't moved that line. Blake, they know they're going to get murdered if they move that line towards Philadelphia. And they once again, just like the last Super Bowl in 2023, when Philly went from dogs to faves, and they got murdered because everyone's going to take – they're really afraid of doing that. And I think they're really hedging themselves against the smart bettors. Not the smart, I take that back because I'm fucking dumb as hell. The sharp bet, like that sharp side, right? They're really hedging themselves. I mean, honestly, all along I thought this was going to be a dog to fave, and I created that evil plan I've been talking about, which I will get to. So let's get to it. I lost you. Here we go. As for the game, throw that away. I see Philadelphia, Blake, as the superior team. I really do. Philly's advanced stats, this EPA, expected points added. I know you know what I'm talking about, right, Blake?
Mm-hmm. It's some nerd shit.
Yes. Their offense and defense support them being the better team. Not only the better team, their numbers probably support them being the favored in this game. Their numbers in the regular season were that way, but guess what? They got better in the postseason. Philly's statistically the dominant team. Their roster shows that they're dominant team. But wait a second, Blake. It can't be that easy, right? What does Kansas City have? They've got two things in their favor that I think are huge. and could throw a monkey wrench and everything. Those two things are Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah,
let's be honest.
Thinking, yeah.
And if there's a game,
can I give you what third thing though? There is
go
a third.
Please.
That's really important in a game like this. That's a tight spread. Kicker. Harrison Butker is so much better. It's
100%.
It's
the only reason I took that off is because it's indoors. For one, it's a controlled environment.
It's true.
And I've been listening to some of the Philly guys, and they, again, this could be because they're Philly guys, but they have zero worries about Elliott.
That's crazy.
Which I agree with you. Like I 100% agree with you. I can't take that away from him. But in a game like this, and it's not only Andy Reid, I do believe, and I apologize to my brother-in-law Bob for saying this, I think Philadelphia might have the dumbest coaching staff, period. Across the board. Like I've never watched.
Crazy for you to say they're all Italian.
Right? Exactly. I'm gonna die. I'm gonna have a horse head in my fucking bed tonight. Like I've never questioned more things happening in a football game than when I watch Philadelphia. Like, I don't know what Sirianni's doing. How Kellen Moore is going to be the head coach of New Orleans, I don't know. Take their under in wins right now. Fangio, I don't get what his philosophy. See, here the thing is,
Italian.
Fangio, you know what it is? Take the over, because he's just going to let you score as many points in the fourth quarter until you catch them, and then they're going to win. I don't understand them. All right. My final thought. Here we go. Philadelphia is going to do what the Lions refuse to do. They're going to find the opponent's weaknesses and they're going to exploit it. Even though their coaches are dumb, they know what to do. Kansas City's defense struggles to stop tight ends and the run. This is a Goddard and a Barkley game. I'm going with Goddard. I'm going with Barkley. I'm fading the trendy favorite who should be a damn dog. Fly, Eagles, fly. I'm taking the Eagles.
Go Birds, he said.
Go Birds. It just is. It doesn't make sense.
For old time's sake, yeah, I think you just throw it on there.
Let's just do it. Let's do it. I'm going under. I love it. It so is. It so is. I just
love
couldn't.
Todd has time on his hands, man.
I had to sit there and say, "There's no way," because everything was put. The line moved down. The numbers are there. Everything is there. I don't. And here's the thing: if I didn't see the game, and this is where I'm going to get Blakey, I'm going to go Feely. If I didn't see the game the way I see it, I would go under. But the way I see it and the way I want it to end, it can't go under.
Yeah. For sure. No, I mean, it's smart. All right. So I went through before the show, and I know you have 40,000 props that you're going to throw at me. I just have a couple that I really like, and I'll throw them out there, and then you can go on your prop tirade. You're more than welcome to. Real quick, Saquon won Offensive Player of the Year, and Surtain won Defensive Player of the Year.
Okay. All right.
First corner. I saw the tweet, like first corner in like forever.
He's good. He earned it. I mean, that's good.
He's the only name two other Denver defensive players. You can't. I don't even. Can you name one other one?
No.
I'm racking my brain. I'm sure if I could. I don't think Josie Jewell's there anymore. That was the one.
He plays for Buffalo now. They drafted him.
Who?
Oh God. Shit. He had the glasses on. He had the glasses on.
Von Miller.
Bam, Von Miller. Boom.
Yeah,
Von Miller.
No.
There he goes. Is he still there?
Okay.
Here we
so
go.
I got some props.
Let's go. I'm interested.
I always bet tails.
Yeah,
Plus
you always
100.
said that. You said that. You always.
Tails
I've never
fails.
bet the coin flip. I've never bet it.
Like,
Never.
I don't know if you know this. Tails never fails.
I
Literally.
I get it.
It's a fact. It's a fact of life. This one I don't know if I'm gonna end up taking. I think the numbers gotten inflated, especially after last week's game. Mahomes' rushing total right now is at 29.5.
Oof.
I think that's just a little too high.
Yes.
In my opinion, because like there was games because I've been riding Mahomes rushing totals. I mean, you see like the same game stuff that I send you every week.
Yeah.
There's always a Mahomes rushing total in it.
Wasn't he? What didn't it open around 22.5?
I don't know.
I think that's
it's a super inflated number.
Yeah, that's
but like there's a lot
inflated.
of games where it's like 12.5.
Yeah.
And 29.5 is just way too high of a number. I might even go under on it, but you never know. He's because last week he ran the ball more than he has in like 5 years. I mean, he had 2 rushing touchdowns. That's crazy. This one is one that you brought up in the championship round that I took, and I really like it again in this game. Especially you give Andy Reid 2 weeks to scheme some stuff up.
Worthy baby
over 6.5 rushing.
Oh,
yards.
I got him at 4.5.
Nice. It's at 6.5 right now.
Yeah,
So
and that's still good. That's still good at 6.5.
And there's a
He's
prop.
good for. He might get 2 rushes. Like I mean, it's good.
Yeah, there's a prop out there for him over 85 receiving and over 15 rushing. I don't know the plus number on that, but
that's big.
To
Gotta be
throw
a huge
flyer.
Plus. Yeah,
like that's actually not.
I mean, that's 2 alt, like pushing his alt totals over. So that's got to be close to 5-1. I would say that's a huge one.
But this one for rushing, I really like. I don't have any receiving or passing yet, at least.
Okay.
But Mahomes rushing first quarter over 4.5. I like that.
Okay.
That's a reasonable number.
That's 1 rush. He does not rush. Hey, does he ever rush for under 4.5 yards unless he's kneeling down? No.
And that way you get rid of that risk too. At the end of the game, he takes a knee to end the game. You lose a yard. You know, my buddy had a parlay last year, and that Purdy knee at the end of the game lost him like
you see it all the time.
$350.
Yeah, you see it all the time. Because here's the thing, but all you need is Kansas City to have 1 third down in the first quarter, and he's going to get it. It's the bottom line.
Yep.
It's the bottom line. He's going to get it.
Over 3.5 field goals. That's at plus 125. Love that.
And I tell you why I love that one, Blake.
Chiefs first quarter minus .5 point. That's plus 140.
Okay,
Philly's,
I like it.
Philly's the worst first quarter team in the league still.
See?
Overtime plus 900. Gotta take that.
Evil plan.
Love it. QB to catch a pass plus 1,600.
Okay. All right. I dig it.
Throw it out.
Philly special, baby.
That's all. That's what I'm talking about. Something like that. Like I said, with the Worthy, Andy Reid has 2 full weeks to scheme some stuff up, especially with how much Mahomes has been running the ball. I don't hate him catching a pass. Hurts, obviously. Sirianni does some weird fuck shit.
Here's my question to you. 2-point conversions count as a caught pass?
No. That doesn't go in the stat sheet.
Dun, dun, dun. All right.
And then the last one I have is a doink. Plus 550.
Would you get? Yes, I got it. I love the doink. I'll take the doink.
Because it can be on an extra point, too.
Yeah, it's any kick.
Jake Elliott.
Yes, it is any kick. It just scared indoors. I don't know if I've ever won a doink indoors. But I take it all the time. If you're going to offer me a doink in any game, I'm fucking taking it. Because it's just fun. And this is what it gets down to.
Makes a cool noise, everything.
Yes, this is my fun right here. But so I got to get Skydog is saying, here's one for you, Mike. The last Lions coach to have 3 straight winning seasons was also the last one to do the following before Dan Campbell did it: win a playoff game and win the division. Wayne Fonts. All right. there we go. Yeah, I don't know if we want to compare our current head coach to Wayne Fonts, but we did, and here we go. Right, Blake, are you ready for this?
Lay them all on me.
All right.
I can't wait.
So, even though this is just fun, there's a rhyme to my reason.
Wait. Before you, how long are the write-ups for this?
No, none. They're just bad.
Okay. I just know you better than that. And if we
Yeah, I know you do. No. Oh, so all right. So I'm going to start with because this is all laid out to how I see the game. So touchdowns. All right. So I will get into a little bit of numbers to why I'm going the way I'm going, and then I'm just going to get into it. Philadelphia has scored the first touchdown 75% of the time. Kansas City only 60% of the time. However, when Kansas City scores that first touchdown, their leading first touchdown scorer is Kareem Hunt. So remember that. So with Philadelphia scoring on 75% of the first touchdown 75% of the time, I think in all the playoff games they've scored on maybe even their first drive. My feel, Blake, here it is. My feel is Philadelphia would defer if they win it, the coin toss. Kansas City is going to take the ball. So in my feel, either way, Kansas City is getting it. Kansas City is going to go down. I have Kareem Hunt to score the first touchdown, 9-1. All right. But I also have Kareem Hunt to score the first, Barkley to score the second at 60-1.
Okay. I like it.
I have Kareem Hunt to score the first, Jalen Hurts to score the second at 66-1.
Yep.
So that you saw where I'm going there. So to offset a little bit of that, I've got Barkley to score Philly's first touchdown at plus 185. I have Hurts to score the first just in case Philly takes it and goes down at 7-1. I just can't get away from Patrick Mahomes. I got Patrick Mahomes first TD of the game at 22-1. First Kansas City touchdown, 11-1. Anytime 4-1. See, I kind of cover myself all the way down. Now you have the quarterback catching a pass. Yeah, I have the fat man TD at 17-1.
I saw that one too. Yeah,
at 17-1. I think this is going to be a very tight game. I see this as you see by my touchdowns, rushing touchdowns. I think it's going to be rushing touchdowns and field goals. I have Kansas City to kick the longest field goal because you said Butker, right? Minus 105. Yep. I have both teams to kick a 33-yard or longer field goal at plus 115. I really like that one.
Yeah.
I got the doink at 550. I have a rushing game and a field goal game. 2 rushing touchdowns by each team, 2 field goals by each team, 40-1. I really like that too.
Yeah.
So now I get into what my philosophy always is, Blake, that 60 and 66-1. I always have a couple of those that are going to win me a shit ton of money. Then I have a couple that I need to win 1 or 2 to get all my money back. Then I have my regular bets where I'm trying to just come even, but I got to win a bunch. I went back to Goddard again. I've been riding him in the playoffs. Over 4.5 receiving yards, over 46.5 receiving yards. Oh, catches is 4.5. Receiving yards is 46.5. I want to say he's up to about 52 yards in receiving yards. So I got some value there. I didn't like Kelsey's yards, but I got him over 6.5. So 7 catches at a plus number, plus 112. I do think they're going to have to rely on him. He is Mr. Playoff after all, right? I got the Xavier Worthy 4.5 yards. So the way the game goes, I see this as you took overtime, right?
Yes.
Yes. I see this as an overtime game, and all these kind of play into that. I have the Eagles +2. This is my evil plan. I got them at +2. That's why I was hoping that it would flip, and I wouldn't need my boost. I'm going to take Kansas City at +2.
Okay.
I see this as that overtime game. And the +2 on each side, what that saves me from is my feel is there might be a need for a 2-point conversion at the end of the game to tie it. So that gives me that 2-point cushion. Yeah. With that, I also took a 2-point try at +115, a successful 2-point try at 275, and the loved octopus at 14-1.
Yep.
So those all play together. Overtime at 9-1. So that's kind of the way they're fun, but it's all how when I sit down, I look at how I think this is going to be a close game.
Yeah.
And I just overtime reeks it. There's one last bet that I made today off of something I heard a guy say. I took Trent McDuffie, cornerback for Kansas City. I wanted to take him just to get a sack, but they took it off the board. This guy must have moved the number when he put this out there because they took it off the board. I got him at Kansas City's first sack at 30-1, but last time these teams played, he had 2 sacks.
Wow.
And they said Spags blitzed the shit out of him. A ton of times he was blitzing. Like I said, I wouldn't advise Kansas City's first bet. I just had to take it because I thought it in my head, so I had to take it. If you can find him to just get a sack, I'd take it in a heartbeat. I just can't find it. So
did you know, too, I saw this, or I heard this stat, and I want to make sure I'm repeating it correctly, that the, all-time playoff sack leader in the NFL is George Karlaftis. Because he's just played in so many playoff games.
I did not know that.
I'm not 100% sure on that, but
don't quote me on this.
Yeah, I could be completely wrong. I'm known to be pretty dumb, but
you're not as dumb as me, Blake. That we got to get this right. I'm the dumb one on the show. You're the good-looking one.
My wife would argue otherwise.
Oh, and so would my wife.
So
to answer, so Skydog was asking about AJ Brown. He's an absolute man. He's a beast. I love him. I just don't see this playing out as a passing game for the Eagles. Now, again, do I know what's going to happen in the game? No. So Kansas City comes out and jail sexes Philly real early. Yeah, they're going to have to throw the ball eventually, and A.J. Brown's going to get catches. 100%.
By the way, that stat's just wrong. So don't.
How wrong were you?
Oh, Willie McGinnis is 16. Frank Clark is third with 13.5.
So, maybe in the last 3 years, he's the leader?
Now I'm looking to see where he's at. It was like, come on, Stat News. This website.
I had a free bet. So, to get back on the Skydog asked about AJ, I had a free bet, Blake, and I don't know. You watch Kansas City and the way Andy Reid runs it, and it's always somebody else, right? The next man up in my mind is D-Hop.
I agree.
Last game was Schuster, whatever. He had a couple, he had his big game. So I had a free bet. So to offset on a free, I don't like to throw out because my free bets are dumb bets. I put a free bet on D-Hop to get the first touchdown. I think he was 28-1 or something like that.
Yeah.
So it was a free bet that I threw out there. So if I had
what didn't Valdez Scantling have 2 touchdowns last year in the Super Bowl? And he didn't do anything all year. Yeah.
Right.
It's those guys for Andy Reid 100%.
Who you think you need to cover is not who you need to cover. That is why I stayed away from any rushing props with Hunt and Pacheco, because everyone's all over Hunt and they're taking Pacheco under. I'm sorry. Pacheco's numbers are 2 or 3 rushes and he's going to go over. And I've heard not a ton, but too many guys talk about them taking the over. They just think it's gotten way too ridiculous how low it is.
Because Gainwell's out, right?
Is he?
He's not available for any totals that I just looked at least.
Oh, I did not know that, because that would put who's the dude that scored that last touchdown? And they all went nuts for
the white dude, right?
Yeah.
I can't remember his name.
By
the way, Karloftis has 7. Which is still a lot
That's
for
still
like
not
3 years.
Yeah.
But he's just played in so many playoff games. But it's like half.
But
maybe he's the active. Maybe that's what he is. No, because Von Miller has 10.
So it'd be Will Shipley.
Oh, yeah, Clemson boy. Remember that run he had on when he was at Clemson when he hurdled the guy and split 2 defenders in the same run? It was incredible.
Is Gainwell out? That's going to be huge.
Because, like I said, he's just not available for any props right now.
Let's see. Philadelphia Eagles.
4 hours ago, bumps to full participation.
Yeah. Jalen Carter illness. Oh, God, I could kill them for putting that out there. Ramped up limited participants on Wednesday to full participants on Thursday. Like, seriously, can at some point, like, it's still, this is the craziest one. The line is not moving where you think it should be going because something. And I wonder if it was like someone had an inside knowledge of the flu that was going through there. This line should be more of a pick 'em. Because if you look at one point, Blake, it was it was Kansas City -1, -105, Philadelphia +1, -115. What is that?
Yeah.
That makes zero sense.
To be frank, so I already have the Chiefs. That's the only thing I have in. I just took a money line. I'm not gonna mess with the spread. I'll take him.
What would you get? Like 120, 125?
Yeah, 120.
Yeah,
I'll pay the 20 cents and then I don't have to deal with this. You know what I mean?
Well, absolutely. And
if in my opinion, if you're going to take Philly, I would just take them plus the 100. In my opinion, I understand. But what you were saying, moving it to 2, I get that as well.
Because you 100%. Think my moving it to 2 was just, it's really the number is 1.5 is what I want. But I got Philly real early in the week. I laid a dumb bet. Way more than I usually bet because I'm laying it on this +2 because I know I'm going to be able to come back and get KC. So it just washes my bet is what it does. I'll lose a little bit in juice or whatever. I don't care. But it's 1.5 is really the number because if that game goes into overtime, someone's going to come down and score a touchdown. Someone's going to come down and score a touchdown, and they're going to go for 2. And that gives you a 1 point difference. So you need that 1.5. The 2 just covers me on my thought of like this 2 point conversion at that. So really, I just need to get Philly to 1.5, which it's at -130 right now. If I can get my fucking boost, I can get that down to 110 to 107, I believe is what it'll be. And I'll take that 1.5, which only screws me if I need that 2 at the end of the game. But I do see this overtime kind of thing. I've only had this feeling, Blake, one other time, and it was the Carolina New England Super Bowl, and Vinatieri screwed me out of about $3,000 by kicking that fight. Well, he didn't. He did his job. Carolina screwed me out of that by not stopping them on that long third down before that, and Belichick by fucking trying to go. I thought they were just going to end it out. Like if I could I was on top of a table at a Super Bowl party in Las Vegas screaming. Go figure.
This was what, 2001, right?
No. Was it 2003 or 2003? I had my daughter was born, so
because the first one was the Rams, right?
Now, yeah, I want to say it was 2003. The Rams was before my daughter was born.
The Rams one is the first Super Bowl I remember. Yeah, like I had memory of.
Yeah, Carolina, I want to say was 03, and then Philadelphia was 04. So something like that. I went to Vegas back to back. Outrageous if you can ever get out there for a Super Bowl. But that's
my mother-in-law is there right now.
Is she really?
Yeah, but she's flying home Saturday.
Oh,
She's not a sports person whatsoever. Could care less. Probably won't even watch the game. I've always wondered that what do people do that don't watch sports on Super Bowl Sunday?
They watch the commercials.
No, I legitimately I'll ask her. I'm 99% sure she just won't watch.
I'm just saying,
watch something else, like reruns of NCIS or something.
I'm just thinking that Eric's a huge fan of Kansas City in the Super Bowl.
Yeah, I think he's worried. Eric, correct me if I'm wrong. You are, besides the Lions fan, your second team. I'm assuming just because of Tom Brady is the Patriots. Correct me if I'm wrong on that. Because there's a lot of Patriots fans that are they don't want Kansas City to win this game which is crazy because Philly beat the Patriots twice.
Yep.
But there's a lot of Kansas people that don't want Kansas City to win because now it's the dynasty talk, which teams are better, whatever. The Patriots thing, what the Patriots did back then. Now we're getting off the rails real quick. Though I'll say this, they did it in two separate eras almost. Their first three and their second three. That's what's incredible. Brady completely reinvented himself. For that second three-peat or three-pack. The Chiefs are just dominating. This whole era right now.
It's insane what they're doing. I can't wait. Like I said, it sucks that I'll be on the road. I'm hoping to be home for halftime. I love that's a long halftime, but I think I can get my butt home for halftime to watch it.
You're going to Lindsay, right?
I'm going to Lindsay to watch him play. Then me, him, and my wife are going to Toronto to see Jack White. And then we're going to Markham because he's got a game in Markham on Sunday. It's a 1:30 game. And if it was the Lions, we were going to get a room in Markham and just hang out, not because I couldn't miss it. But now that's not the Lions. I'm just going to watch. I think I can watch it on Tubi or something as I'm driving home. And then my goal is to get home by halftime.
So no, also radio-wise, a certain station that I used to work for is carrying the game, and I know that reaches all of Ontario.
I've got to get to Ontario. I got to get close enough.
Yeah, I mean the reach is huge. So
once I get close enough, I've watched games on Sunday driving home. I just got to get there. It's I got to get through I basically have to get through London. Once I get through London, there's no worries. I can pick everything up.
Yeah, no, I'm just saying radio-wise, when you're across the border, you can pick it up that way too.
Love it. I'll do it. I will do it.
I'm not giving them a plug, my former employer, but yeah. let's not push it too far. I still technically I'm an employee. So
right. Hey, well, I'll take that back. I'll take. It
looks like Todd has a surprise.
Well, what does he got for us? On our way out. Go. Wayne and his friend Lenny Fontes, two brothers that said their last name different ways. Classic. Classic.
I just hear the stories.
Oh boy.
All right. Well, this is it.
This is it.
It's been a great run.
Yep.
We'll see. We will possibly see you in March. It depends on what's going on with our schedules and everything. But it's been a great season. We appreciate everyone watching, listening. Todd, is Sean going live after the game? Do you know what the plan? Okay. No, he's not. All right. Well, I'm sure Sean will give a great recap next time he is on off the air.
Yep.
Follow that. Check out What the Puck. You guys have been doing great shows with the Wings being hot too, talking about that and everything. I'm assuming you guys are calling some hockey games coming up soon as well.
Absolutely. We have one coming up the 12th. We're doing Brighton and Brother Rice.
Beautiful.
And then how about this, Blake? There's this rumor that's out there because we are big Red Zone fans, right? That we might be doing a Red Zone from state champs for the regional finals.
Cool.
That would be sick. So we'll have all the regional final games, and me and Sean will be in studio talking about it as a huge rumor thought that we would like to do. So that would be something pretty cool.
That's actually a genius idea, I think.
Isn't it?
That's so cool.
Absolutely.
Hopefully they can pull that off.
I hope so. I hope so. I'm there.
So check everything out on this channel. Everything that Sean's got coming up, everything that Mike's got coming up. Todd, thank you as always. I appreciate everything you've done for us all through the season, all these graphics, all the work you do behind the scenes. We really do appreciate. And Mike,
putting up with our shit for an hour and a half every week.
Usually 90 minutes every week, just because I have some stupid things to bitch about. So we appreciate everyone, and we will see you for sure next football season, but possibly in March. So we're out.
You've been listening to Off the Board. Tune in all throughout the football season for weekly picks and insights. Subscribe to Unsyndicated and Off the Board on all your favorite social media and podcast platforms.